to continue working without pay during this government shutdown is diabolical.
I love being a government employee. I love doing what I do. I love serving soldiers. I love my job.
This shutdown is unlike any other shutdown that any of us have seen in the past.
Whoa, I don't know where all this hate for federal employees is coming from. But yeah, I understand we get back pay, but have you seen this economy?
So I woke up today furloughed by the federal government, which is a strange feeling.
Y'all, my corporate job just fired me.
They're not leaving the workforce. 300,000 women are being fired, laid off, restructured. That's what's happening.
To the 300,000 Black women that just got laid off, hear me and hear me well. Adjust and pivot.
Here are 5 things you need to do immediately to bounce back faster than 90% of people who lose their jobs.
If I got laid off today, here's exactly what I would do next.
Over 350,000 Black women have lost their jobs this year. The recent government shutdown has led to furloughed workers, layoffs. Layoffs are continuing to happen all over. Businesses are closing their doors. I just saw the other day that Starbucks is closing certain stores. People are wanting to share their experience. Watch this.
300,000 Black women are not leaving the workforce. I just hope that everybody is on the same page about that. They're not leaving the workforce. 300,000 women are being fired, laid off, restructured. That's what's happening. Don't fall for the rhetoric. Just because somebody is given a severance package, an exit package, or whatever it is, still firing you. One of the things that's so harmful about this narrative is it further insinuates this strong Black women narrative that honestly needs to just die. It needs to die. When you frame all of these women being fired as them leaving the workforce, right, and starting their businesses or whatever, they're not starting their businesses because they want to. They're starting their businesses because they don't have a choice. 300,000 Black women do not have a quiet coalition in group chats back in a Discord, or if they do, please let me in. But they don't. They're not all deciding all at once, okay, we're all going to quit now and we're all going to just start our own ventures and we're all going to go be like most Black women I know who have started their own businesses have done so because of necessity, not necessarily even always because they've been fired or laid off, but a lot of times because they recognize that they're not going to be treated as well as they could have been treated if they just treat themselves well by running their own business. So I want you to look at these articles and these headlines with a jaundiced eye, because 300,000 Black women are not leaving. They're not just going, oh, you know what? Who needs a check? Who needs a 9-to-5 in this economy? Like, we need to start getting in the habit of calling things what they are. Like, when your company tells you that you've been restructured, they're laying you off. That's what's happening right now.
Y'all, my corporate job just fired me. I went in today all nicely dressed like I am. And, they sat me down and told me they were letting me go. After 6 years at this company, I am no longer there. And you know what? I'm not even upset. Is that bad? Is that bad not to feel upset about the situation? Like, I've been getting questions from family and they're like, how do you feel? And my response to them has literally been, I feel free. The reason before y'all even get, to thinking that it was because of something that I posted on here, it was not. It was because of budget cuts. And not only was I let go, but others were too. So yeah, that. Still surprising to me. I mean, I immediately asked in my, exit, just want to make sure that this is not about performance. And they clarified this is not about your performance. This is solely based on, us not getting the grants and these things that thought we were getting and us having to cut back. And so I had to write it all down as they were talking because I had to make sure, what? What after 6 years? I know God has a plan for me. I feel like God puts you in certain positions in your life. He makes you do stuff that you wouldn't do. Like, I would have never put myself in this position to be even a little bit uncomfortable, but he did that for me. I just know there's something big coming. I know there's something big.
All I wanna say is that they don't really care about us.
Starbucks is planning another round of store closures and job cuts due to slumping sales in the U.S. In a statement sent to employees, the CEO said around 900 corporate staffers would be laid off. That's on top of the 1,100 jobs that were cut earlier this year. Starbucks also plans to close underperforming coffee houses across North America. The company's recent financial struggles have scared investors, with its stock price falling by more than 12% over the past year.
Welcome to day one of a U.S. government shutdown. There is no plan and no deal to reopen it anytime soon. So for those of you who are new to this, welcome to the party. Don't worry, I'm going to explain what comes next and how this is going to impact you. And for those of you who have been through this before, you also need to be paying attention to this video because this shutdown is unlike any other shutdown that any of us have seen in the past. Okay, so officially the U.S. government shut down at 12:01 a.m. this morning, October 1st. That means all non-essential government workers have been furloughed and non-essential government agencies and departments have all been closed. According to the White House, that means up to about 750,000 federal employees are going to be off the job. As for federal agencies and departments that are considered essential, they are still open. However, the essential federal workers at those agencies and departments must show up to work and they will not be paid until the government reopens. Now, put a pin in that idea for a second because we're going to come back to it. And this little tidbit is going to impact you. It's super important. But before we get there, let's talk about what are considered some key essential agencies and departments that are staying open. Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, Veterans Benefits, military operations, federal law enforcement, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, U.S. Customs and Border Protection, CBP, and Air Traffic Control. They will all stay open. The essential government employees who work at those agencies will all have to show up, but they will not be paid. A general rule of thumb is the shorter the government shutdown lasts, the less impact it will have on everyday Americans. And the longer it lasts, the more it will impact you. Of course, it impacts every federal worker immediately. But for everyone else, if this shutdown is just a few days, it shouldn't really disrupt your life. But if it lasts for more than a week, you're going to start to see some problems. Now, for the record, the last government shutdown we had was in 2018 into 2019 during the first Trump administration. That was the longest shutdown we've seen in like 40 years, and it lasted for 35 days. And those 35 days are what leads me back to this idea I told you to put a pin in. Remember I said these essential workers have to go to work and they won't get paid until the government opens back up. Well, during the last government shutdown that was 35 days, that's a long time, and it basically boils down to missing 2 paychecks. So put yourself in the shoes of these essential government workers. What if your employer said, yeah, I need you to come to work, but I'm not sure when I'm going to be able to give you a paycheck, but you still need to do your job. What happens to your bills? Do you think your landlord would just waive your rent for that month? What about your electric bill? How about your cell phone bill? See, it's a problem. Now, what happened last time was federal workers at TSA, for example, put up with the showing up to work without a paycheck for the first few days and weeks. But by the end, they were like, if you're not going to pay me, I'm just not going to show up anymore. So they started to call in sick to work, which trickled down to air travelers who were facing huge lines at the security checkpoints because lots of the TSA officers just called out sick. Now, here's another example. Remember I said Social Security is considered essential. So yes, you will get your Social Security check. However, some of the Social Security support staff at the Social Security offices are considered non-essential, so they are furloughed. That means if you want to process perhaps a new Social Security or disability claim, or if you have questions about your benefits, getting those answers will start to become very difficult as this shutdown drags on. As for SNAP benefits, those will continue for now. But if this shutdown lasts past the month of October, they may not. One more example I know will impact a lot of you. The Department of Education is furloughing about 80% of its staff. And that's on top of all of the firings we saw earlier this year. So it's slim over there already. So yes, you will still get your student aid disbursement through your Pell Grant or federal direct student loans. And yes, you can still apply to FAFSA, but you will not be able to get any kind of new grant award. And if you have questions about your student loans, answers for those questions are going to become very difficult because the support staff is all furloughed. And by the way, yes, you are still required to pay your student loans back during the government shutdown.
The fact that we still expect federal workers to continue working without pay during this government shutdown is diabolical. Because you're telling me that we are expecting these people to still wake up early, pack their fucking lunch, commute to work, sit at their desks, and perform their job duties fully and safely, all without getting pay. Oh, and then fun fact, members of Congress and the president still get paid during government shutdowns because their pay is constitutionally protected. So, hello?
A lot of people have reached out to me asking me how I'm feeling about everything that's going on and the government shutdown and being furloughed. Mind you, in 2018, when I first came into the GS system from active duty military, I served 5 years in the Army on active duty. We were in a partial government shutdown. So my first day, we were in full government shutdown on my first day. Signed the furlough paperwork, but then the next day we came back, and that's when it turned into a partial government shutdown. This time is different. And I truly don't know if I can even talk about it without wanting to cry. But if you are a government employee, you know that this year as a government employee has been pretty exhausting. Just the uncertainty of everything mentally weighs on your mind. Mind you, my family's good, but that doesn't negate that other families aren't good. And that's what kind of breaks my heart. A lot are veterans who strive on being the providers for their family. So imagine having all this time, not having nothing to do, and you're battling internal demons. We all know the outcome of that for most veterans, which sucks. Just got news that somebody I served with committed suicide. So again, just imagine all of these employees who find a purpose in providing for their families, who are already struggling. Those are the things that worry me. I see a lot of people saying like, oh, it's not going to last long, da-da-da-da-da. Oh, you're going to get back pay. You'll be okay. And at the end of the day, it's not about back pay. It's not about how long this is going to last. I mean, it does matter with how long it's going to last. Because at the end of the day, I know God's got me. My family and my friends got me. But it's more so for people who don't believe that. And they're finding it hard to believe that. So that's just what my thoughts are. I love being a government employee. I love doing what I do. I love serving soldiers. I love my job. I absolutely do. I loved being a part of the Army. So for me to like try and go and find a career outside of that, I truly don't think that that's the purpose that God has had in my life for my life. I believe He has me where He wants me. And like I said, God's got me.
I have a couple of friends who are federal workers. They were deemed essential. So although they are furloughed, they still have to work. Some people don't have to work if you're like non-essential, but you were furloughed. But they were deemed essential, so they still have to show up and just not know when the day will come when they will get paid. Of course, there will be some back pay, but the question is when. And that uncertainty, can bring about fear and, it can just make you anxious. And I understand completely how she is just one in particular. She's like, I am so done with this mess. She's on the verge of retirement. So it's like, you playing with my money right now.
Day one of being furloughed, guys. So I just got an email saying that I've been placed on furlough status. However, during this period, I may be contacted at any time and instructed to perform specific expected work. So I'm not getting paid. I can be on call, basically, and I can't go on a cruise because I was like, oh, maybe I'll go on a little vacation or some. Negative. I have to be available at all times with no pay. Zero money. On call. But I'm furloughed. Whoa, I don't know where all this hate for federal employees is coming from. But yeah, I understand we get back pay, but have you seen this economy? Most people, federal or not, are living check to check. So back pay isn't going to help us pay our bills today. Oh, find a new job. Oh, easy, Karen, because there's so many jobs out there right now. Newsflash, there aren't. I can't just go and pick one off the shelf. Y'all hate us until you need your passport, your tax refund, airport security. I'm so sorry that we're a little stressed right now. Yeah, stressful times. Sorry.
So I woke up today furloughed by the federal government, which is a strange feeling. I doubt I'll be the only federal employee to talk about this today on this app. We will weather this storm, but I know that there's a lot of federal employees who are going to be going through a really stressful time, who might find themselves in different circumstances than me and Nate at this exact moment. So if anything, we understand why this is happening, but I guess I just wanted to come on here because I want people to see the faces of the federal employees that are caught in the middle of all this and humanize us a little bit and remind you that we're not just some theoretical idea. We really do go and work and are proud and happy to work for you every day. Depending on how long this goes, I think there's a good chance I will be in the office actually for part of this, which I'm happy about. Of course, I won't be getting paid for that, but I I want to work. That's who I am. But yeah, it's crazy times out there. Absolutely wild.
So many people are sharing their experiences with the furlough, with layoffs continuing. So many people are just wanting to voice their opinions or just express their experience. So I just wanted to share that here. But I also always want to turn these negative situations into positive. So I wanted to add a few tips to help those who are facing layoffs, who have been fired, who have been let go, who are going through some tough times right now. Take a look at these.
To the 300,000 Black women that just got laid off, hear me and hear me well. Adjust and pivot. Adjust and pivot. Adjust and pivot. Here is what I mean by that. Adjust. Adjust your expectations, adjust your lifestyle, adjust your budget, and get comfortable with confronting and accepting reality. Okay? Do not live in La La Land. Do not live in Delulu. Okay? Be okay with adjusting your lifestyle. You may not be able to go out with the girls. You may not be able to engage in all the beauty maintenance. I know as Black women, we love to have our hair, nails, all the things done. We do not want to look like what we're going through. But be okay with having to adjust and look like what you're going through for a season, okay? Adjust those things. It's okay. It's okay. Pivot. When I say pivot, I mean in a couple ways. Number one, be okay with being an entrepreneur. I know Tabitha Brown said, get a job. I'm going to tell you the opposite. I'm going to tell you, find a way in this time as you are still applying for other roles to make use of your skills and your gifts. To me, this is the best time to be an entrepreneur because this is about to be an economy for entrepreneurs. If you don't have something to offer for money that people are willing to buy, it's going to be very tough for you out here because there's not enough jobs for all the people who are now unemployed, right? So be able to pivot into something else, be able to pivot into a different industry, be able to pivot. This one kind of goes back to adjusting your expectations and pivoting into a role that may be less qualified or may pay a little bit less than your last role because it's just for a time. It's just for a time. You're just adjusting for a time. I need you to do this because these are the things that I wish somebody would have told me when I got laid off. I am still struggling to this day to let go of the lifestyle inflation. I still think I'm entitled to have certain things, to go certain places, to do certain things, to work certain jobs. But sometimes there are just seasons where you have to humble yourself and do the things that you got to do until you can do what you want to do. This is one of those times. And I'm going to hold your hand when I say this. Okay, it's going to be rough out here, all right? So adjust and pivot. Adjust and pivot. And please do not care what other people think as you are adjusting and as you are pivoting, okay?
I got furloughed from my job because of COVID, and it was a location-bound job. And I remember telling myself, I will never work at an in-person, in-office job again. 5 years later, I have built what will be the #1 relocation agency in the world, Lux Nomads, where we help Americans move to Europe. And we have our VIP clients flying in a private jet to their new home in Spain. This is your sign to do something different, leave the ordinary, and do something extraordinary that will benefit the world, especially during these times.
Here are 5 things you need to do immediately to bounce back faster than 90% of people who lose their jobs. First, handle the news like a professional. No screaming, no crying, no cursing out your boss. Thank them for the opportunity and walk out with your head up. Why? Because industries are smaller than you think. Burning bridges today can cost you big tomorrow. Right after COVID hit, my own position was eliminated as a cost-cutting measure. I handled the conversation with my boss so well that he actually called me afterwards and said, "Don't sign the severance agreement. You should negotiate. You've done a great job here and you can get a lot more." I took his advice and ended up getting significantly more. That's the power of professionalism. Second, file for unemployment benefits right away. Even if you were a contractor. Think of unemployment like life insurance. You pay into it, you rarely use it, but when you need it, you should take full advantage. And for those in professional level roles, Unemployment can range between $1,800 and $4,000 per month, depending on your state, with Massachusetts, Minnesota, and Washington paying the most. Don't leave that money on the table. Third, update your resume and craft your story. Be truthful about why you left, but put a positive spin on it. Instead of saying I got laid off, instead say, after a company restructuring, I'm excited to bring my skills to a new opportunity. It's about controlling the narrative. Fourth, start your search immediately. Set up daily alerts on Indeed, LinkedIn, and other job boards. Let the jobs come to you while you actively hunt. Momentum is everything right now. And fifth, don't just spray and pray. Use a combination approach. For some jobs, apply directly. But for roles where you're highly qualified, you should try and fast forward your way into the job by reaching out directly to hiring managers, team leads, or recruiters on LinkedIn. Personal connections beat algorithms every single time. I get it. Losing a job hurts, but it's not the end of the world. It's the reset button. So take action, stay consistent, and you'll land on your feet faster than you think.
If I got laid off today, here's exactly what I would do next. From somebody who has worked in hiring for over a decade and somebody who lost 2 jobs last year. First, you hear this all the time, but it's important. Apply for unemployment. Immediately, right now. Come back to the rest of this video later, but go apply for unemployment now. In some states, it takes a really long time to process. Next, I always recommend some type of pause for introspection for yourself. But I know for many of you, you feel like you can't take this time off. I understand, but I would try to take some. Next, of course, assuming you have not done it, is update your resume. I say do this before the next steps because you do want the resume ready to go, but don't just slap something together quick. You're going to be sending it to a lot of people very shortly and you want it to be good. Next, I would optimize my LinkedIn profile and headline based on a lot of tips that are out there. That is because the next step is your LinkedIn post. Do not waste this LinkedIn post. It will probably get more views on your profile than you're used to having. I've linked to the video of exactly sort of how I say to do it, so you can use that as a guideline. But understand that people will see this and look at your profile and you want it to be ready to go and appealing. I would do all of this before contacting anyone or applying to any jobs because you don't get a second chance at a first impression.
If you have some additional tips that you would like to share, please feel free to add them down in the comments. And also, if you have a similar experience that you want to share, feel free to add them down in the comments as well. I love a good comment conversation. I hope this was helpful. I hope it gave you some insight of what's going on. Take care. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next video.